Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 11, Chapter 42, Tonic for Youth. Manifestations of the Divine Atma, Spirit, you are here before me, resplendent with the inspiration you have imbibed from this atmosphere of peace and self-control, the vision you have gained about your own reality, the sense of mission you have cultivated, the resolutions you have invested yourselves into, and the invigorating contact you had during these 30 days with teachers who are sincere guides of youth. You have been taught the elements of yoga, spiritual communion, and dhyana, meditation, the essential unity of all the different paths of self-realization, the correctives necessary for a life of peace and joy in this technological world. Tomorrow, when you leave for your homes, I am sure your hearts will be hankering for God, though your bodies journey towards your native villages. I am glad at this, for the treasure of devotion is more precious than gold, silver, and property. These cannot grant mental peace or lasting joy. Virtue is the real treasure chest. Sterling character is the sterling that is universally accepted. The realization that you are a wave of the ocean of bliss is the richest possession. You are witnessing the plight of the princes of India. It demonstrates that power, authority, status, sovereignty are all but flashes in the pan. Rains fill the tanks to the brim, and for a brief span of time, hordes of frogs croak around the shores, acclaiming the glory and the wealth. Let the tank go dry one day, as it must. No single frog will stay to croak allegiance or praise. Fame and affluence are as unsteady as the homage of the frog. Glory is won when you discover yourself and revel in its divinity. Education must result in discovery of the self. Consider how well educated, how powerful, how strong physically, how heroic were the epics and the personages: Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Duryodhana. Each of them had all these in ample measure, but the absence of virtue, of the yearning to be righteous, of adherence to dharma, moral code, that flaw led to irreparable ruin. Prior to the confrontation in the field of battle, Duryodhana, as well as his rival the Pandava prince Arjuna, rushed to Lord Krishna seeking aid. Krishna allowed them to choose for themselves. He placed before them two items of aid: the army that would be an addition to one's militant potential, and himself, the divine guide and guardian, who would not be useful for the actual fighting in the battle. Duryodhana chose the army because he preferred quantity, manpower. Arjuna chose quality, God power. Krishna was for him as valuable an acquisition as the conquest of an entire world. The individual must install himself in a chariot with the wheels of Tyaga, detachment, and Satya, truth. The Lord will then accept the position of charioteer. He will hold the reins, mind, and direct the horses, the senses, straight and safe over the road. The path of salvation through self-realization. Only practice and experience can give intelligence. Atma Vidya, science of the self, by which one can become aware of the infinite, eternal, absolute self, has to be pursued by everyone. Education must result in this discovery, or else it does not deserve the name. The process by which one gets the skill necessary to make his livelihood or to exploit nature and his brethren cannot be education in the real sense. Books only fill the brain with second-hand stuff. Practice, experience, feeling, doing with one's own hand, these give insight and intelligence. Swatting is just a waste of time and money. Book learning helps you to gain marks at school and college. I prefer students who do not acquire adverse remarks in their records, even if their marks are a little less. Study must endow one with humility, but today students are afflicted with aggressive audacity. We have in the field of education factions and fights that bedevil relations between students, teachers, and administrators. Politicians are at the bottom of it all. Neither the students nor the teachers are to blame. Students have tender, eager, self-denying, idealistic, compassionate hearts. That is the reason why I have given each of them immaculate white to wear this day appropriately at Whitefield. Kshetra means field. Your personality and person are the Kshetra. But you must, by earning and maintaining purity, cognize the Kshetrajna, the master of the field. How foolish, how wasteful it is to fritter away your glorious destiny, echoing the angry outbursts of vainglorious climbers who misuse your energies for the destruction of the properties of innocent citizens and for terrorizing the neighborhood. When the reservoir is full, the water taps will flow. When the heart is the reservoir of love, sympathy, and faith, acts, words, and thoughts will help peace and joy. Politicians, however, do not recognize these needs. They fill the young hearts with hate, envy, and greed, and spur them on to violence, vilification, and condemnation. They draw them away from the classroom, the library, and the laboratory, and make them tramp the streets. They prod them to injure innocents, damage property, and behave wildly with fury. Indian culture never encourages the use of force. Indian culture, as you learnt at this summer camp, from distinguished exponents, never encourages the use of force for effecting changes in law or social conditions or people's attitudes. Gandhi directed the movement for Indian independence along spiritual lines, which drew courage and confidence, and communicated both to the people from Namasmaran, the recitation, and the reflection on the names of God. He cleansed the heart of the nation of hatred and envy, of fear and doubt. He stuck to the ideal and the path. You too should do the same. A student has study as his ideal and his path. That study cannot be postponed or done slipshod. So whatever the obstacle or temptation, it must be overcome. Students deserve an atmosphere of peace. Teachers too must teach in an atmosphere of peace and joy. Dronacharya taught archery to Arjuna as well as to his own son, Ashwatthama. But Arjuna received the lessons with avid enthusiasm, and so He became the greatest archer of that era. Ashwatthama could not rise to that height. Attach yourselves to the teacher by means of earnestness and humility. Then you get the best out of him. If knowledge is handed over in anger and discontent, and if it is received in anger and discontent, how can the gift bear fruit? How can the receiver be strengthened by it? Treasure what your teacher taught with reverence. I bless you that you may progress in life with the help of the ideal and inspiration you have garnered during these days at Brindavan, the discipline, the social conscience, the wisdom of the ages, the lessons of the past and of the future. Draw upon them whenever you are afflicted by doubt or despair. Put them into daily practice, meditate on them, reflect on their importance and significance. I shall reveal a truth. You got this chance as the reward for the merit you have accumulated in your past lives. I need not describe to you the affection that your teachers developed for you. You have yourselves witnessed how they were in tears while taking leave from you at the end of their series of lectures. What they taught you with such love, you too should treasure with great reverence. Your Satguru, spiritual preceptor, is your Swami. I will be with you evermore. So go back happily with courage born of self-confidence. Share your Ananda and your new outlook with your parents, your friends and companions, kith and kin, teachers, and the people with whom you come in contact. I exhort you to strive sincerely to serve others and serve your own best interests. I bless you that you may have success in your endeavors. Valedictory Discourse, Summer Course for College Students, Brindavan, May 31st, 1972. When man is able to master the senses and direct them along more beneficial channels, the eye seeing God's footprints in stars and rose petals, the ear hearing God's voice in the throats of birds and peals of thunder, the tongue tasting God's sweetness in all that appeals to it, the nose discovering fragrance in everything that recalls the glory of God, the sense of touch content to clasp the hand of the forlorn and the distressed as the beloved children of God. When man's senses are directed along these lines, then he can visualize the God installed in the cavity of the heart. That is the lesson of the five-hooded Shesha, divine serpent. Sri Sathya Sai Baba.